With orchestral stringed instruments, we have a particular capability to do something that other orchestral instruments or any instruments can't do, like fretted instruments or valved instruments, and that is that you can play any frequency at all because the note can slide anywhere along the spectrum of notes, basically. And that gives us the ability to create microtonal music with something like a string quartet, where we'll hear an example of that at the very end of the video. So we have this ability for notes to be played in between the usual 12 notes that we're used to. The performance is about 3 minutes, so it just is an example of what we can do with stringed instruments, the violin, viola, and cello. And before we get into that, I'll just do a little bit of a explanation of what microtonal sounds like using a small analog synthesizer. So just a few examples for you to check it out, kind of get your ears tuned to something that is quite different with this microtonal system. It's got a lot of capability to it, so check it out. So to start us out, I'm going to play the 7 white notes that you would see on a piano, just the C major scale, and that sounds like this. And what's called a chromatic scale, that's all 12 notes of piano within an octave, and we'll recognize that as sounding like this. And finally, to take a listen to a microtonal setup, 31 notes per octave, we have a set of 31 within that same range, and it sounds like this. And then to get a little bit of a sense of the different chords that are possible with microtonal music, we'll play a clip here of first the common chords that you would hear with a 12-note system, and that would be the minor and major third, a perfect fourth, and a perfect fifth. And from there, we expand the palette into a whole different range of options. We're using the notes that are in between notes to create new chords. The chords that are most pleasing to us are the ones that have ratios with very low numbers. And the first example we have here of a microtonal chord is using the 7:5 ratio, which is not something that you can play on a piano or a normal instrument. And here's a little example of what that chord sounds like. And the next example is another chord that is quite resonant as well. It's only available in microtonal tunings, and that is the 7/6 chord. And finally, the holy grail of intervals, which is called the Harmonic Seventh. The interval is, or the chord is basically the root note and then a note that lies right in between what would be the two piano keys between A and A sharp. This Harmonic Seventh is kind of a hidden gem basically that we're able to bring out in microtonal compositions, and here's a bit of a sample of that. And then finally, when we watch the performance here, you'll see the performers, but at the bottom you'll see the score. And the score is pretty much the usual type of notation, but I have a system of using slashes before each note, regardless of whether it's a natural note or an accidental with a sharp or a flat. When you have one slash, that shows that the notated note is tuned up about 40 cents. If there's two slashes, it's tuned up just a little more. That allows the players to play notes in between what would normally be the 12 notes of the 12-note system. So you get all 31 notes on the score there. I'll also be posting ratios on the screen, and those will be particularly just the microtonal ratios. When you hear them, they'll show up on the screen. I won't post the normal ratios of the 12 notation or 12-tone system. We'll just let those go by. So whenever you see that ratio on the screen, it means that this is only possible when you use a microtonal tuning system. It wouldn't be possible in any other way. So hope you enjoy it. It's pretty interesting. It's really a whole new realm of exploration. You have a lot of capability, new chords, new ways of doing chromatic scales, a very elastic feel to it. So hope you enjoy it.